Chapter 1: The Eight-Limb Technology of Consciousness. The Architecture of Human Transformation. Most people think of yoga as stretching. Others think of it as a religion, a philosophy, or a form of meditation. Classical yoga is none of these in isolation. It is a complete technology of human development. Nearly 2,000 years ago, the sage Patanjali organized the wisdom of earlier yogic traditions into a remarkably elegant framework known as the Ashtanga Yoga, or the Eight Limbs of Yoga, described in the Yoga Sutras. Rather than presenting a set of beliefs, Patanjali outlined a systematic method for transforming the human organism, from behavior and physiology to attention and consciousness itself. The eight limbs are not independent practices. They function like components of a single operating system. Each develops a different layer of human functioning, and together they create the conditions for profound psychological, physiological, and spiritual change. Modern science often studies the body one system at a time: the brain, the heart, the immune system, the endocrine glands, or the respiratory system. Yoga begins with a different insight. Every system influences every other. Change the breath, and you influence the nervous system. Calm the nervous system, and attention stabilizes. Stabilize attention, and perception changes. Transform perception, and your experience of reality changes. The eight limbs provide a roadmap for this transformation. The eight layers of human functioning. 1. Yama, regulating behavior. The yamas are principles governing how we relate to others and the world. They include ahimsa, non-harming; satya, truthfulness; asteya, non-stealing; brahmacharya, wise use of energy; aparigraha, non-possessiveness. From a modern perspective, these are not merely ethical ideals. Chronic conflict, dishonesty, aggression, and compulsive desire continually activate the body's stress systems. Living in alignment reduces unnecessary psychological friction and supports healthier autonomic regulation. Primary training, social behavior, and emotional regulation. Niyama, regulating the self. The niyamas cultivate inner discipline. They include saucha, purity; santosha, contentment; tapas, disciplined effort; svadhyaya, self-study; ishvara pranidhana, surrender to the highest reality. Modern psychology recognizes similar processes through self-reflection, habit formation, emotional resilience, gratitude, and purpose-driven living. Primary training, character, resilience, and self-regulation. Asana, regulating the body. Originally, asana referred to developing a stable and comfortable posture for meditation. Over time, it expanded into the sophisticated physical practices known today. Modern research suggests that movement and posture influence mobility and strength, proprioception, balance, pain perception, fascial tension, autonomic nervous system activity. The body becomes steady, efficient, and capable of supporting prolonged stillness. Primary training, structural integrity, and embodied awareness. 4. Pranayama, regulating energy through breath. Breath occupies a unique position within human physiology. It is both automatic and voluntary. Because of this, breathing becomes one of the most influence the autonomic nervous system. Pranayama uses rhythm, depth, retention, and awareness to regulate internal state. Modern physiology associates these practices with changes in heart rate variability, carbon dioxide tolerance, vagal activity, stress hormone regulation, emotional resilience. The yogic description is different, speaking of balancing prana and purifying the nadis. Yet both perspectives recognize breath as a powerful regulator of the human organism. Primary training, physiological regulation, and energetic balance. Pratyahara, reclaiming attention. Pratyahara is often translated as withdrawal of the senses, but this can be misleading. It is not about shutting out the world. It is about freeing attention from being constantly captured by it. Modern life relentlessly competes for awareness through screens, advertising, notifications, and endless stimulation. The nervous system rarely rests. Pratyahara reverses this habit. Attention becomes intentional rather than reactive. In neuroscientific terms, this may support improved executive control, reduced sensory overload, and greater emotional regulation. Primary training, attentional sovereignty. 6. Dharana, training one-pointed attention. Once attention is no longer scattered, it can be trained. Dharana is sustained concentration on a single object. A breath, a mantra, a visual point, or an inner sensation. Like strengthening a muscle, repeated practice develops attentional endurance. Research increasingly links focused attention meditation with improvements in working memory, cognitive control, sustained attention, reduced distractibility. Primary training, cognitive stability, and mental precision. 7. Jhana, continuous meditation. When concentration becomes effortless, it naturally evolves into dhyana. Instead of repeatedly bringing the mind back, awareness flows continuously toward its object. Mental effort begins to dissolve. Thoughts lose their compulsive grip. The sense of separation between observer and observed may soften. Neuroscientific studies associate experienced meditation with widespread changes in functional brain networks, including reduced activity in the default mode network, increased emotional regulation, and enhanced neural integration. Primary training, stable awareness, and non-reactivity. Samadhi, the culmination of practice. Samadhi is the flowering of the entire system. Classical texts describe it as a state in which ordinary identification with thoughts, emotions, and even the individual sense of self dissolves into direct awareness. It is among the most difficult aspects of yoga to study scientifically because it is fundamentally experiential. Neuroscience may observe correlations, changes in brain activity, physiology, or metabolism, but the subjective reality of samadhi cannot be fully captured by external measurement. It must be experienced. This is where the laboratory of science and the laboratory of consciousness begin to meet. Primary training, direct realization. The 8 limbs as an integrated system. The 8 limbs are not 8 separate practices. They are 8 interdependent technologies. Yama stabilizes relationships. Niyama stabilizes the individual. Asana stabilizes the body. Prana stabilizes physiology. Pratyahara stabilizes attention. Dharana stabilizes the mind. Dhyana stabilizes awareness. Samadhi reveals consciousness itself. Each limb prepares the next. Each strengthens the whole. Attempting advanced meditation without ethical stability, emotional regulation, or nervous system balance is like building the roof of a house before laying its foundation. The genius of Patanjali's system is that nothing is left to chance. Every layer of the human organism is trained. The 8-limb operating system, viewed through a modern lens, the 8 limbs resemble a complete operating system for human development. Each limb trains a different aspect of the human organism, yet all work together as an integrated whole. Yama, ethical alignment. Primary function, regulating how we relate to others in the world. Modern perspective, social neuroscience, emotional regulation, stress reduction, and healthy interpersonal functioning. Niyama, self-mastery. Primary function, cultivating inner discipline and personal growth. Modern perspective, psychology, habit formation, resilience, self-reflection, and well-being. Physical stability, creating a body that is strong, balanced, and capable of stillness. Modern perspective, biomechanics, fascia, proprioception, posture, mobility, and body awareness. Pranayama, breath regulation. Primary function, regulating energy and physiological state through conscious breathing. Modern perspective, respiratory physiology, autonomic nervous system regulation, heart rate variability, and vagal tone. Pratyahara, sensory regulation. Primary function, turning attention inward by reducing unconscious dependence on external stimulation. Modern perspective, attention control, executive function, cognitive neuroscience, and sensory processing. Dharana, concentration. Primary function, developing sustained one-pointed attention. Modern perspective, executive function, working memory, cognitive control, and attentional endurance. Meditation. Primary function, cultivating continuous, effortless awareness. Modern perspective, neural integration, emotional regulation, reduced default mode network activity, and enhanced cognitive flexibility. Samadhi, pure awareness. Primary function, direct realization of consciousness beyond ordinary identification with thought and perception. Modern perspective, the frontier of consciousness studies, where subjective experience extends beyond current scientific explanation. This framework forms the blueprint for everything that follows. Each chapter of this book explores one aspect of this operating system through 2 complementary lenses. The first is the language of modern science, neurons, physiology, endocrinology, bioelectricity, and measurable biological mechanisms. The second is the language of yoga, prana, nadis, chakras, mudras, bandhas, and states of consciousness cultivated through direct experience. These are not presented as identical systems, but as different ways of exploring the same human organism. Modern science investigates the body from the outside. Yoga investigates experience from the inside. Together, they offer a richer understanding of the extraordinary capacities already present within every human being. Practice protocol. Daily practice, 15 to 20 minutes. Sit comfortably with an upright spine. Spend 5 minutes observing your natural breath without changing it. Spend 5 minutes noticing how often your attention wanders, gently returning it to the breath each time. Spend 5 to 10 minutes reflecting on one yama or one niyama and how it can be consciously practiced during the day. Daily tracking record the following each day. Mood, 1 to 10. Stress level, 1 to 10. Mental clarity, 10. Energy level, 1 to 10. Resting heart rate, if available. Minutes of uninterrupted attention. Look for gradual trends over weeks rather than dramatic changes from one day to the next. Safety notes. This chapter introduces foundational concepts rather than advanced techniques. If you have a history of trauma, anxiety disorders, or significant mental health concerns, prolonged meditation may initially intensify awareness of difficult thoughts or emotions. Progress gradually and seek guidance from a qualified healthcare professional or experienced meditation teacher if needed. Throughout this book, practices should be approached with curiosity rather than force. Yoga is not about achieving extraordinary experiences. It is about cultivating steady awareness over time. The journey begins not by chasing altered states, but by understanding the architecture of the instrument through which every experience is known.